G'day guys, welcome back to the farm on Farming Simulator 22, the Start From Scratch series. So in the previous episode we planted the grapevine, so that's going to need a lot of work. That's probably the main job for the episode today. And it's also April, which is the best time to sell clothes, and we do have a few pallet of clothes, so that will be bringing us in quite a bit of cash, which is going to go towards purchasing a new field. Haven't decided which field that will be yet. We'll have a look at the options. We still have the furniture to sell in a couple of months as well, so that will bring in even more money. But we do need to keep some money available for September and October, because we will have to lease the equipment to do the harvesting for the grapes and for the olives. So to start with, we've got this pallet of fabric here that needs to be shifted over. Hopefully that's going to be maybe enough to produce one more pallet before we sell. If it's not, it's no big deal. There's also a pallet over there which needs to be put into the area. There we go. Yeah, so we don't have enough time to produce one more pallet today. So to sell, we have 2, 4, 6, 8 pallets of clothing. So we'll get that loaded up into the curtain cider, and then if the price is good, we'll go and sell it straight away. But if it's not, we have plenty of stuff to do with the grapevine. I think we need to cultivate, fertilize, maybe mulching as well. So there's plenty to do in there. I think the olive grove is pretty much good to go, fully fertilized and everything else. So we'll get all this stacked up and put it into the truck, and then we'll see where we're at from there. Wow, there we go, all loaded up. Doesn't look like much when it's in the trailer, but that is going to be just over 80 grand for us, so definitely good job to get that sold. It's going to boost that bank balance up to nearly 400. So we'll get all this strapped up, and then we'll take a look and we'll just check the price to see if it's going to be worthy of selling now. It's not at its best just yet. Oh, it is pretty good, but it is still rising, so I think we'll drive on down to the store and we'll leave it there, and we'll just keep an eye on it, and when the price is at its best is when we'll sell it. So we'll just leave the truck here and leave it open, and then when the price is good we'll come back. So in the sales, I don't know what is this thing. Oh, a subsoiler. Well, it's massive. 500 horsepower. Nah, there's no way we can even contemplate using that. That tractor would be nice. Don't really need another trailer right now, but what we do need is to jump into the little Landini, and we'll have to take the fertilizer spreader off it, and we'll keep the mulcher on the front just in case, and we'll put the cultivator on the back, because I know that we need to do both of those things over at the grapevine. So we'll have to drive on over there. But we'll just stop in over here at the olive grove and we'll take a little look, just to be sure that I haven't missed anything. I think I've done everything it needs to have done. So yeah, it is fully fertilized, it's been cultivated, possibly might need mulching in a couple of months or something, but looks pretty good. So we'll cruise on over to the new grapevines and we'll see what work we need to do there. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a busy day getting all of that ready for the harvest. Wow, here we are, and yeah, she does definitely need mulching, so we'll get that going on first, and then we'll probably come back and do the cultivating maybe after we've sold the clothes. But for now we need to focus on getting this undergrowth here trimmed back. I don't know if we need to, how close we need to get to the trunks of these, but we'll just go right up the guts of it at the moment. So this is going to be a big job. Well, we're pretty much done. I haven't done the tidiest job, but this mulch is obviously not wide enough for the width of these vineyard, whatever you want to call those, vines. So might have to come back through and just tidy it up a little bit later, but it's already taken quite a lot of time, so I won't show that all on the camera. I'll maybe tidy that up in between episodes. But we're going to have to do the cultivating anyway, so that'll be the next thing probably. But we better check on the clothing now. It's been a little bit of time. So, I mean, it looks pretty good. It's fully fertilized though. So that's one thing. We don't have to do that again. And I think the clothing is probably pretty much as good as it's going to get. So I think we may as well just go ahead and sell. And now it's going to be 80 odd thousand into the bank. So very good. And then we'll drive that into the drop zone, and that should rocket the money right up to nearly 400,000. Okay, close enough. So we are making quite a decent amount of cash these days, and we're obviously investing all the time. So new field wise, I'm probably thinking this one, because it has a crop of sugar beet in, and we are going to need to produce some sugar for one of the productions that we're going to be purchasing soon. So we may as well get ahead of it, and it's already been planted out for us. We'll have to either lease the material to harvest that, or maybe have to look through the mod menu to see if we can find a cheap alternative. But yeah, I think that's probably the logical step for us to purchase. We're a little bit short of cash for it at the moment, but as long as we buy it before harvest season, then that should be sweet. Otherwise, probably going to be better off buying one of these fields around it. But ideally, I would like to purchase the one that's got the sugar beet in. There's also these options here. They're all good options. It's just, I'm pretty kind of got my heart set on that sugar beet actually. Don't really fancy a whole load of corn. Not right now, maybe in a year or two. So I think sugar beet will be the one that we want to aim for, either that or the corn, but ideally the sugar beet. So I think we've got grass here that is ready to be produced, and looking around, I think we're pretty good for hay at the moment, and silage is pretty good, but we can always use more. And if we don't use it, we can always sell it. So definitely worth producing some silage while we can. And that'll be the first cut of the year. So we'll get 2 more cuts. We'll have to do hay at some point, but we're going to need to stay on top of the silage, especially with our new feed mixer. I think it is slightly larger, so it's going to be using a little bit more. We won't be using that much more per year though. It'll still be roughly the same amount, but the mixer does take a couple more bales than the old one. So we'll just make sure that we are on swath dropping, which we are, and we'll get in there. We'll start doing a bit of mowing, and silage is a nice quick job. At least we don't have to do too many things, just mow and bale, unlike the hay where we have to do tedding and windrowing. So we'll get this done, and that'll be a few more bales. It looks like the furniture is producing nicely. We'll probably have to do some wood chopping at some point in the next year, so we'll hire a proper wood harvester to do that rather than using the chainsaw. Well, that's the mowing all finished up. Time to fold up the mowers, and we'll get these put back into the sheds. I'm thinking we should actually probably build another shed somewhere, because we've got a few implements that are kind of just out in the elements. Got the bale destroyer over there, the bale collector here, milk truck over there, feed mixer, manure spreader, slurry spreader. So we could definitely do with and the windrower there. definitely do with a nice big shed somewhere. So maybe we'll do that in the next episode. Just when next time we build something, we'll try and remember to build ourselves another shed. So we'll get these mowers put away. They're all nice and clean still, they don't need a wash. And we'll hook up to our baler, and we'll get the baling all sorted out, and we'll probably have to do some slurry spreading down here at some point. But I think we still need to get over and do some work with the grapes. They're not fully sorted out just yet, and I want to make sure that all that work is done. I've got a bale on the back of here that I need to get rid of. It's a straw bale from the previous, probably the wheat harvest that we did. Get rid of that. Make sure we're on 150 size bales, because that's all that we can wrap. We'll start loading up, and we should end up with about 14 or 15 bales, depending on... yeah, it should be around 14 this time, I think. Right, there we go, pretty much done all the baling, just a few little bits and pieces that we've missed. We'll do a quick run around and just pick up the scraps. Probably not going to be enough to make a full bale, I wouldn't think, unless this run fills us up, but I don't think it will. So anyway, those bales will go into the bale loader, and they'll sit there until they ferment, and then we'll put them down next to all the other ones, but we don't want to put them down too early, otherwise I will probably get myself confused and I'll end up throwing a unfermented bale into a feed mixture. So it's best just to keep it there, and then if we don't use them, we can always just sell them straight off the trailer. So that's probably the best way to do it. So it's just a few scraps left to do, and we are going to need to get back over to the grapevines, and we need to do that cultivating today. Like I said, I want to get everything over there sorted out as quickly as possible, and then that way we don't have to worry about doing it, because we're going to be pretty busy after this with all the harvesting that we need to do. Now that we're getting up there in the number of fields that we have, we've obviously busier every month, so that's a good thing for us. It just means more money, but it also means more work. Farmers' work is never done. And we're back in the Landini, and we'll keep that mulcher on the front here. That will kind of act as a counterweight for when we're pulling this cultivator through the grapevines. So I don't really know how I'm going to create this episode just yet, but there's probably going to be like 2 or 3 time lapses, I would say, because it's just a lot of repetitive work. So hopefully you don't mind a little bit of music, because I don't think it'd be too entertaining just to watch me doing this all the time. Alright, just about finished. It has taken a long time to do that, but it will be worth it in the long run. Hopefully we're going to make a good profit out of this grapevine. And it's all going to be going into other productions. We won't be selling anything. I think we get grape juice and raisins. I don't know if you get one or the other. I would assume that you would get both, because you would obviously extract the juice and then be left with the raisin. So looking at it, we're looking pretty good. Some of it's saying it's only 50% fertilized, and the ploughing hasn't seemed to have disappeared, but I think I'm going to call that pretty good. It looks fully fertilized to me, so that should be all good. And I think we'll just leave that now until harvest season. So that should be the end of the grapevine prep. That's actually the olive grove that I was just looking at there, but I think the grapes are all good. Construction, so we were going to want to have a look at the production buildings. Bakery, yeah, we're going to need to, we'll need a lot for this. We'll need the dairy, we'll need the sugar production, we'll need the grain mill, so that's probably a little bit down the way. Dairy, that's just sugar that we need, and milk, which we obviously have, and we get 3 products out of that, so that's why I want to purchase the sugar beet field. Grain mill is kind of easy enough, but we don't really have a big enough amount. Sugar mill, that's expensive, but we will get sugar out of it, and we'll get that sugar beet, so that might be worth looking at. It's probably the way we want to go down, I suppose. Cereal factory, actually that's doable. Once we get the raisins, we can just plant corn and oats. We've got honey, so that might actually be worthwhile. Actually, that's very much worthwhile. How much is cereal worth? 2,600 for a box, so that's not too bad. I think that might be the go. That's probably what we're going to aim for here, actually, is the cereal. So the wheat field's all good. Chickens are pretty good. So the last job of the day, I suppose, is going to be to collect up our silage bales. And then we'll leave those to ferment. Could do with feeding the cows probably in tomorrow. No rush for that. Everything's looking pretty good. Do want to purchase a new tractor. There's still so much that we need to do here. Do want new tractors. Couple more fields, couple more productions. Not really sure how long this series is going to last. I was thinking whole map completion kind of thing, but it might be a little bit too much. I don't know how well it's being received on YouTube so far, but I'm going to keep going with it because I like playing Farming Simulator, and it's a relaxing game, especially when you've had a hard day of doing proper work. It's nice to come home and just chill out in the tractor. Okay, all the silage is wrapped up, ready to be fermenting, so that can just sit here on the trailer for a little while, and then we'll decide if we're going to sell it or keep it. I'll probably keep it. And the cows are doing just fine. We've got a lot of milk here that we're going to need to sell. Used machinery, there's not really anything for us. I would be keen on that tractor, but we've already got a class, and I want to mix it up. Make sure we get a few different brands. So coming up for us, I suppose, it's all about the harvesting. So we've got the wheat, canola and oats. So that's going to be a busy time in July, August. And then we got that sugar beet. If we purchase that field, that'll be around October. Grapes in September and olives in October. So there's a busy couple of months coming up, the harvest season. And we'll probably be thinking about planting some corn, I suppose, if we are going to go down the route of cereal. So we've got quite a bit of silage here. That's more than enough to get us through the rest of the year. But it is also worth just keeping hold of it. How are we doing on the hay? We've got quite a bit of hay as well, but the next cut that we do on the grass, I will make some more hay. Can never have enough. So that'll be the end of that episode, guys. Hope you liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next time, which will probably be the harvest season.